My name is Jeffrey, and so we're here today to talk about the root chakra, the base chakra. I am from Woodstock, New York right now, in the Catskill Mountains of New York State and United States of Republic of the United States of America, we should say.
And I am Annabelle Drum, and I'm from Sydney, Australia, and we're going to talk about the base chakra today. So, Jeffrey, I'm going to ask you some questions if that's all right.
Yep, let's go.
Cool. All right. So tell me, how does should we get a bit of a quick overview of what chakras are in the first place, and then we'll get talking about the very first one, the base chakra.
All right, so the chakra system in our body is one of the energetic light systems of our body. It's the Hindus and the ancients talked about it for years, and it's basically where most people consider you see the 7 colors coming up the body, starting at red at the bottom, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet.
Yeah.
To the 7 basic chakra systems. And from that point, most people don't really realize what the chakras do, or other than seeing these colors. Well, they relate the chakras to the way the light comes into our body, and each 7 rays, which each one of those colors are, we also are made up of light bodies and this light energy. And how we
so when you say,
can
I interrupt you there? When you said that light comes into our body, is that like when a light hits a crystal and then splits into the different colors?
Yeah, well, it's like the light hits the crystal, but also we absorb light in all different parts of our body. We're like plants, but we do it on a subtle level, and we do it on a big level. Like when we go out and stand in the sun is obviously coming down on us, and it's really hard. But when we process the light, even in the invisible space that's around us, there's lights. There's always light and activity of energies. So the chakra system is the absorption of light. It's the chemical transference of light into chemical substance. So it goes into how we feel and think and what's influencing around us. And these are all vibrations, but then we can detect them with like the vibration of light, the vibration of sound, the vibration of energy. All this stuff is all in movement. So like in the body, we have the light system. We also have the energy system, which would be the meridian system, or in shiatsu and acupuncture, it's all these like little lines that they have running over our body. And this is more the electrical system of our body, whereas the chakras are more the electromagnetic system of our body, which both of these systems are produced within our heart. Our heart is basically our generator of electric and electromagnetic energy. Mm-hmm. It also pumps the blood. But by the act of its pumping its blood, it goes through 4 compartments. And when that 4 compartments, as the blood's going through there, it's actually creating a little generator. It's creating a little electric magnetic generator that's sending out these impulses to our body. Mm-hmm. And it's a perpetual thing. So once spirit starts us in our I am presence, when we come through, and once it all connects, it perpetually runs forever until we destroy it, or it gets old and breaks down. But usually that's because of us destroying it by
not looking after ourselves.
Not looking after our bodies, you know?
Yeah.
We look after our cars and our houses, but we forget to look after our bodies on this level, not just throwing chemicals at our body, not just but to really understand our body and to allow the energies to flow through us. So the chakra system is based on the light frequencies. It's how we take the light, the astral light, the physical light, the spiritual light. There's all these different vibrations. They all just change because of frequency. So every little thing. So each chakra is a frequency, actually. That's why you would ohm to it. And in the ancients, had like little Sanskrit letters for each chakra and stuff. Because in the old days, a long time ago, before there was like all this technology and noise pollution and stuff, when the world was really quiet, people felt every little vibration. At the very beginning of that time, when people spoke the words over sand or ommed them in meditation, the signs would appear because of the vibration of their word and tone. And it actually made the writing come out for them just because of their ohms and tones.
Where would the writing come out of? How does that work?
Because when you sat there in a very quiet state of a world that was really quiet and no technology, no other energy around, so when we first started speaking or when people spoke, it was very powerful. That's why they say in the beginning the word was God, and God is the word.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Because the vibration comes out of us. So even the words, the ohms that we do, and the particular ohms vibrate. And all this vibrate takes us into cymatics, it takes us into the study of sound, but then that's how we move in this world, really. We're really beings of vibration and energy, even though we've solidified it down to like we're hard, but it's still all vibration.
So that kind of reminds me of the Japanese professor that was studying water crystals and how it crystallizes, and if you give it words that are loving and gentle, that it makes a very solid structure, and if you say horrible things to it, even just to water, that it mushes up and makes a kind of chaotic pattern that's not strong. And even that whole, so I guess that's what it's about, right? If these words are coming out and they're part of the vibration as to the effects that they have on people and anything around us, will either be structured or, strongly because they're beautiful words, or messed up because we're saying violent words.
Right. And so now we can take the outer words when we speak. So then we have inner thoughts and inner feelings, and they both have vibrations, and they both work on the chakra system.
So what kind of vibrations are those, though? Because they don't make sound if you're just thinking them.
Well, they are making sound, but they're making sound on a more telepathy. So now we're on a little finer, we're like, say, one octave up out of the peripheral of our ears, but we still hear it with our inner ears. So that's how the beginning of us coming back into understanding telepathy and to understand the subtle things. So then we can hear with our inner ears, and then we get going, and then that becomes more and more, the more and more sensitive and the more able you are to pick up the vibrations, the more and more you can hear the things that are going on with you. Because everything has a sound. Like our spiritual soul has a vibration. That's our soul note. And then we have a physical body that's trying to get back into sync to our soul note. And then we have the earth around us that we're walking on that has a particular note. So everything it's all about, really, one way to look at it, everything is music. And we're just a bunch of notes walking around. And inside of me so the chakra system can be related back to the musical system too. So I'm functioning, so we have 7 notes, but actually there's 5 more chakras that take us into other areas. So that's 12. So now we have the total notes of the music in our chakra system also.
Right. We'll get to those though. Let's just start with the first one. So if we talk about the base chakra today, so that's the red one. That's the one down near our tailbone, isn't it? Is it a very specific spot, or is it just kind of an area?
Well, it's very specific. Most people just always see this red, and they never really understand where that red spot is. Because if you have drawings of it, they just show it like between the legs, and then some people
somewhere at the base of the spine, somewhere at the beginning.
Yeah. So basically, it's the base of the sacral. Sacral is the tip of our tailbone. So
is that the pointy bit, like the sort of hook?
Yeah, it's like the hook. And it's a very important hook, this whole hook, because this is the tip. It's the base. But the top of that is the cranial, which is up here. So if we take the sacral or cranial, which is a direct connection between our base of our skull, or like our pineal gland. So basically the higher chakras are our crown chakra, as above. So below is our base chakra, the sacral chakra, and then we have all the muscles around, like our anus and our rectum, and basically the whole sits directly in center. If you're sitting in a full lotus position, the anus is directly in line with the top of your head.
Okay.
Now we have this complete shaft that would go up and down through our bodies.
Right.
And it starts with our sacral. So then we have the two sit bones, the two bones of our butt.
Yeah.
Two sit bones, one on each side, the left and the right. And then we have the sacral coming down, the tip of the sacral. And then it comes around so now these three bone structures in themselves in our physical body, they create a triangle down there.
Okay.
And then this triangle starts to create the base of our structure of our body.
Mm-hmm.
And it creates, and it's so associated with this. And this is just the physical kind of thing that I'm going through the bones and the base. And when you sit in a full lotus position, your body gets aligned. And those are the things we're trying to align. So the sit bone, you have a left sit bone and you have a right sit bone. So that starts to align our left side of our body with the right side of our body. And then the sacral, the tip of our sacrum is kind of like that rod that's balancing us now. And that rod goes
if you just sat cross-legged, would that not be the same shape?
Yeah, it's all degrees. So sitting like Indian style, like like just sitting cross-legged, not twisting your legs up in a lotus position, pushes your spine into that. Sitting in a chair with your feet flat on the ground and your back straight up and down gives you the same effect.
Okay.
I did all those. I find that sitting in the full lotus position, which I know is painful for a lot of people to do unless you've been doing it for a long time. But once you've mastered and gone through the pain, it's the most, it's the one that precisely shoots the energy right back.
Yeah. I figured that it was the reason we have lotus is because when you get really deep into meditation, if you do start waving around a bit, that it's actually the most stable position that you cannot fall sideways or forwards or anywhere. And you probably wouldn't even fall backwards because you're sort of tipped forward on your sit bones, like you're saying. So that's why I figure it's like the most structurally sound position that you can wave around in meditation. Go off and know that you're still safe, that you're not going to fall over.
Right, and there's a lot of stuff in Buddhism and Hinduism about sitting in the lotus position. And a lot of people use pillows, and they adjust themselves so that the legs will come down and stuff. I'm like, go through the pain, man. It's worth the gain because now I sit in the lotus position all the time, full lotus position, and there's things. It's like you just have to work out the body, but by working out, it's like this is all your base, your legs. You do.
So when you say full, you're talking about 2 feet up in the air, right? 2 feet facing upwards. Whereas what's not a full position? Is it just having one foot up and the other one underneath?
Half lotus is just 1 foot up and the other foot kind of
underneath.
Not in that position.
Yeah.
And then you have just 2 legs sitting in what people call just regular cross leg position.
Yeah. But I find if I put my leg up on the lotus position with the sole of the foot facing up, that my ankle bone sticks into my leg.
Well, because you have to, it's a process of adjusting your bones again and adjusting everything. So, because we never were taught this as kids.
I know. It's not really anything direct as to how far do you push that up onto the leg?
You push it all the way. You're not going to break. It's going to hurt. And there's exercises. It's like I do the same thing. You just move your legs and you move your legs back and forth, and then
just to get to stay there a bit longer each time, I guess. Yeah,
that's it. It's taking, I've kind of always did this position intuitively throughout my life, at least cross-legged, and then that. But then over probably the last 10 years, I've just kept pushing through it, and like my legs would kill me. Sometimes I'd walk up and I couldn't even, like, putting the blood back in your legs after they totally turn numb and stuff on you. And then all the pain of all that. But I have to say, I pushed through all that pain and my legs being so numb, it would take me like 2 or 3 minutes before I could even actually walk sometimes after I stood up.
Poor old legs.
But after all that, it's like now I sit in a full lotus position. I twist my toes. I move my feet in the full lotus position. I can move my legs and I sit there and bounce back and forth on my knees, and all this stuff keeps getting up. But the more and more I do that, my base is opening up.
Yeah,
I'm releasing. So the base chakra, again, all this is releasing and regaining back our connection. And the base chakra is our connection to earth. It's our connection to home, house. It's our root. It's like.
So I was going to say, what else does it represent? Is this the one to do with power and things, or is that further up? You know, talk about power and sex and money and stuff. Is that come from the red one, or is that more the next one up?
Well, the red one is our base, and then it moves into, and it's like the center. Okay, so that's where I was getting into the sit bones and stuff. So the base chakra, which would be at the end of us, like it goes down. So it's one point. It comes down into a point, basically, and it goes all the way down into the earth. So we take it. It goes through our feet. And in each foot, our left foot and our right foot, there's a center of our feet, like right in the center of your foot, there's another chakra in each foot. There's another energy spot. So a chakra also is an energy, like a major energy port. Okay, so say you have a whole bunch of like nerves and energies running. Well, the chakra basically is just the center point of that, like a hub. And then things branch out from that. So basically, from our spine, it goes down, and each foot in the center of our foot, so when we're walking on the ground, our left and our right, so that would be our masculine side and our feminine side, are both touching the ground. And that grounds us into the ground. So then we take that all the way down into the earth, and if we really feel connected in what Gaia has always given us, and what we do is we send point straight down into the earth, and then that becomes our earth chakra. And so that takes us.
But if we go back to sitting down in lotus position or cross-legged, so it doesn't. You're telling me a whole lot of different postures here. So the idea is to just still visualize that one point that comes down into the earth.
Yeah, the visualization of it all without sitting in the position, which really strengthens it all, is just visualize this energy shooting all the way down into the ground, and then you pulling it back up. You can pull it back up to your feet. If you're sitting, that's why if you're sitting in a lotus position, now I'm pulling it straight up through my crane. Through my sacrum. Which when you're sitting in a full lotus position, your sacrum is right there it's right on the ground.
So is it between the triangle?
The tip of my sacrum now. Huh?
Is it in the middle of you were talking about before about having a triangle, the two cyst bones, and then the point of the spine. So is it kind of in the middle of all of that?
Yeah, because so if you're sitting down, it's just shooting. Yeah, because if you're sitting down, your two sit bones are right on the ground, and your tip of your spine is right there.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if you feel in the back of your hand, it's like right there to the ground almost, so that you're really getting that earth energy. I mean, it's like that's why you sit like that, so that you can just absorb the kundalini from the earth. And then
can we also go back on the base chakra and just say, what is it if it's not working as well as it should? I assume that means it's blocked. We talk about sometimes having blocked chakras.
Totally blocked.
So if something goes wrong with that one red chakra, that first one, what sort of ways can we tell that it's blocked? What happens in our lives or our thoughts?
Well, we're very ungrounded, first of all. Most people, the main thing about that chakra is it grounds us into earth, it grounds us into ourself, it grounds us into everything.
So if it's blocked, what happens?
We have a sense of not being grounded.
So it fly away?
Well, it's like you just don't feel like you really made your connection to earth or to your home or your house. It'll have a sense of security, like if you have a lot of abuse when you were younger, or these things. So it doesn't allow us to have that flow. So the connection to earth and to grounding ourselves down is pretty much a predominant thing. We can't be here on this planet if we don't feel grounded to the planet. Otherwise, we're all just in this illusion of our made-up worlds. We're all like, we just, we get dressed and we live in this whole world of TV and make-believe and illusion, and we're walking around and we don't consider the earth or our bodies. And it's like, again, it's like our bodies is part of the earth and the earth is part of our bodies. So if we're not connected energetically and physically to the earth, it's probably predominantly most of our problems right now on earth. It's just like we're not. We're just
So I'm
running
just trying
around.
to figure what other ways we can express that as to what does it feel like to not be grounded, that you're perhaps a lot more anxious, that you're a bit, it's hard to keep your thoughts ordered, it's hard to get clarity.
But,
Would that be right along those lines of if you're not grounded?
I think it's more about us. Yeah, I mean, I would go to different phases, like mental fog and all these things could be variations of
Not being grounded.
not being grounded. But it's like, yeah, not being grounded leads us to doing like lots of chemical abuse, substance abuse.
Oh, okay.
It leads us into a lot of more like control and dominance. But not each chakra doesn't really work in itself because, again, we have to come back to the center. The center chakra is our heart. And the heart is what really, like, we're all hearts coming out of the universe. So if this heart spirit reaches its beingness down to the ground, which is our sacral chakra, and to be here present on earth, then it has to feel secure and loved and nurtured and wanting to, have people around it at birth that wanted to be here. So all this stuff comes from basically like, just think like our sacral chakra and our heart chakra are like the first chakras that start functioning for us. And then it goes into our, into our second chakra and then into our solar plexus chakra.
So I guess if it can't reach down through the base chakra, then it's not
going to. It
never
ground with earth. So if we get abused, or beaten, I mean, I had variations of like abuse happened to me when I was a kid around my spine. So it's taken me a couple of years to straighten that out and reconnect myself back to feel good. And so it's a lot about our self-reflection that people beat us up when we're young kids, or we starve, or we have, a horrible life, or even if we have a good life, but we have dominant parents who are over top of us. It never allows us to grow. So we just cut. That's the first thing that's cut.
First thing gets cut off. Right. I get it.
Because we're not grounded to earth. So we don't go out, and we need to ground ourselves into the earth and into our bodies.
Okay. So
perfect.
Are you able to, as we sort of kind of wind it up, can you give us an idea of what we could do to free it up around there? Like I understand sitting and meditating, sitting nice and tall and feeling the line.
Massage yourself.
Massage. Yeah.
Massage yourself, massage your hip bones, massage the base of your spine, the tip of your spine. And then massage with all that, because massage, I mean, dig around all your bones around there and just, it's your body. And then you're doing it yourself. But see, the same thing also is like all the psychological, emotional, everything, like all the food we eat, where does it all go? It goes to our anus, which is the base of our chakras, for elimination. So if we don't have so it also controls the elimination of all of our waste of our body.
Yeah.
So and also that hole can, like the hole of our anus can be all tight. You can be a tight hole. A lot of people are like, look at that guy, he's all tight. I mean, it's like, it's the whole way of elimination, relaxing and releasing. It's about releasing. So if it's blocked, you can't release it. Energy goes down and energy comes back up. And energy goes down into the ground and comes back up. We release our waste and we pull back up the energy from the earth. We release our waste and we pull back up.
So can I ask you a bit of an intimate question then? Do you think if for people that have anal sex, do you think that they have a less blocked chakra than all the rest of us? I would grant you yes. They have a very less, a lot more opened up. I'm sure they'd be delighted to go, yeah, woo!
But there's a lot too, because also so then each chakra also corresponds to a ductless gland in our bodies. Like so
which one does the base one connect to? Which glands?
It connects to the prostate for the men, basically.
Right, well, that's pretty obvious, isn't it? That makes sense.
Well, then for the women, it's kind of funny because the prostate in the man kind of turns into the uterus in a woman. If you look at
and I remember reading a thing about G spots as well. That the place where the place where it is on a female, that the back wall is equal to where the prostate is. So it's a very it's a real buzz spot, isn't it? There's something that's very energetic around that area.
And once you activate that, and the men can activate it through the prostate, women can activate it. You can do it either way, anal or vagina. But anal, doing it through anal is actually a whole different set of energy than vagina. So it's actually something that's a whole other conversation to talk about. But that spot, that's the spot that we're actually talking about. It's
right.
like, and then that gives you that really centeredness in your body, and you have the energy flowing in and out. And all of our psychological, all of our emotions, this is why people's, like we store all that stuff in our weight, like when we have big bellies and big hips and all this stuff. We can't get rid of all this extra weight around us. And then we have, all
Do you think that's a part of it too? But when you end up with somebody whose body is getting overweight, that they're not eliminating. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not just to do with the amount of food you put in to escape or whatever reasons you're putting it in your mouth, that it's not actually leaving again either.
Right. It's what you're holding on to. It's what you're...
Right. Which includes the emotional baggage, doesn't it?
Yeah. See, this is how so each one of these build back up. But if we don't... It's like the most important muscle in our body is our anus. It's like if that doesn't work, I mean, we just back up with crap.
Yep.
We would blow up. Eventually, we would just blow up, right?
Yeah.
So it's the flow of it. It's like if we have that open, we can flow. So we can think about opening, we can massage ourselves, we can allow ourselves to sit. But it's only the first bases. I mean, it's like then there's the rest of the chakras that make us until we get to the top of the head.
We can talk about those another day. We can, but let's just keep with this one. So you're saying to unblock that area, that a good thing to do is a massage. And
massage.
Yeah.
Inside and outside, just a lot of clean soap and water. Nothing. If you ever do anything around your anus, it all has to be natural stuff. Don't ever put any chemicals, because whatever you wash your stuff with, you can kind of taste it in your mouth, and it's connected. Everything is connected completely.
Golly. Okay.
Yeah,
and one other thing, so not just
really
it's not something I've had to think about, I have to say. So what else is there? I'll carry on.
But what else is there? It's like, think about what comes out of your body. It's like the food that you eat and the toxins, and it's basically what are we doing in life, and how are the things that we're doing affecting us? It's like, what are we eating? What are we thinking? What are we feeling? And it all comes out in our waste. People think that, it's disgusting, and most, the Europeans and Americans, we just flush the toilet and it all goes away. We don't have to think about it.
Yeah. And yet you look at ancient Chinese stuff where they read, or naturopaths as well, they're so fascinated by feces and what you can learn from it about the body.
That's exactly it. And if you look at animal scat, is what they call feces, it's always hard and firm unless they're sick, and it's always like balanced. You know what I mean? It's like if you look at it, it's pretty balanced, and nature uses them in order to, because they're all eating natural things and everything's good. So when we return our bodies that way, then what are we eating? So we're eating chemically ridden foods, or we're eating organic foods, or we're eating fresh, clean food. All that comes to our system. So then we eliminate it. So if we're eating toxic foods, it sits into our solar plexus, it sits into our small intestines, and then that's getting us into the third chakra, the solar plexus, where how we're digesting, how we're dealing with our life.
Okay. All right. So massage is one thing. What's one of the other things? Because if we just kind of wind it up, see what else we can finish up with. Give us any more tips that we can use to help unblock the base chakra.
A visualization of yourself, like being grounded and like growing roots from your feet and stuff, going into the ground, absorbing the deep energy of the earth around us, and finding your peace with nature. I mean, just go sit cross-legged or whatever. Just go sit on the ground. Sit on the ground. Just find a nice place out in the trees and just sit on the ground.
Be in nature.
Yeah, but the reason I say sit on the ground, because the ground has its own electromagnetic current too, and so when we sit on the ground and we relax and just do breathing exercises, just relax, and visualize it. So a lot of visualizations of allowing the stuff to flow out of you. When you go to the bathroom, visualize everything completely flowing out of you, and then visualize. See, but
it's like mindfully taking a poop, isn't it?
Yeah, and then we have psychic poop. We have astral poop. So when we're in a toilet, we're thinking about elimination. But when we're going outside, we're thinking about absorption back of the earth, coming back into. So now that's what it is. For men, it's hard to think that it's a two-way street there. For women, which you have intercourse and stuff, you can kind of your second chakra. So you're used to bringing things in. Men always push things out. So for a man, it's harder to start to think about bringing things
lifting out of the earth. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Bringing it in, and we're allowing the earth to fall up through it and come through us, like coming up through each of our sit bones. You know, so, and just do that, feel connection. And then so stuff will come up, like, you know, parent issues, child issues, you know, early child.
So you know what's bothering you, you know what to fix up.
Right, so then you can relax down into that. But the feeling of being grounded to the earth is a wonderful thing. It's worth to take the time and you don't have to do things. You don't have to think about things. Just put your hands on your heart or put your hands on your laps and just breathe through your anus, breathe through your sacral, breathe through the tip of your spine, breathe through your butt cheekbones, and just feel the earth around you. And you start to feel her energy coming back up through us, you know, and that's what gets us more and more grounded. Awesome. And along the way, you're going to have all these psychological stuff you're going to have to just eliminate and all this other stuff.
Just letting it go, really, isn't it? You don't need years of therapy or anything. It's just more about just releasing it and letting it go.
This is why, again, the heart is always the center of the chakra system. The heart is our center, the base chakra, because we can flip everything. We can have the base chakra and the crown chakra, and then just turn everything around so that our head's at the bottom and our base is at the top. But what our center is our heart. So it doesn't matter if my butt's that way and my head's this way, because if I'm laying down, that's what's happening. I'm going this way. When I'm sitting up, I'm going this way.
I get it. Yeah. I wondered about that, because sometimes if I want to go meditating and I happen to be lying down and I think, how can I shoot energy down through my feet when I'm now horizontal? So that I guess I see what you mean. It flips it so the heart is still in the same.
The heart is the center of the universe. Our heart, everybody's heart, and in the center of all our hearts,
their own universe.
Yeah, but that's everything. I mean, the center of everything lies in the center of each one of our hearts. That's the unity consciousness. That's how it connects us all. We all can be individual, and we all have our creative. This is where we get in the second chakra. We're all creative. We get out there. We express ourselves, and that's what the divine wants us to do, because each one of us is pure expression of spirit. We should be allowed in our free will to express ourselves in this beautiful, loving way.
Okay.
People expressing.
Oh, that sounds good. Well, that's a couple of good things to do then. So that's the challenge for this week before we meet up again next week, is to first of all have a bit of a massage around that, and to also do the visualization and sit on the ground, and that's a very easy challenge for us to do, to work on this week. And then next week we'll have a look at the orange one, number 2.
Yeah,
does that sound good? Yeah, cool.
Right.
Okay, thank you for the chat.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
See ya.